So today we will be looking into the provisions of the Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961. This act came into effect on 20th May 1961 and was enacted as a measure to prohibit the giving or taking of dowry. So what is dowry? Section 2 of the Act defines dowry. According to the provisions of Section 2, dowry means any property or valuable security given or agreed to be given either directly or indirectly by one party to a marriage to the other party to the marriage, or by the parents of either party to a marriage, or by any other person to either party to the marriage, or to any other person at or before or any time after the marriage in connection with the marriage of said parties, but does not include dower or mahar in the case of persons to whom the Muslim personal law or Shariat applies. So what is the penalty for taking dowry? Section 3 of the Act deals with penalty for taking dowry. It states, if any person after the commencement of the Act gives or takes or abets the giving or taking of dowry, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 5 years, and with fine which shall not be less than 15,000 rupees, or the amount of the value of such dowry, whichever is more. The court may, for adequate and special reasons, which is to be recorded in the judgment, impose a sentence of imprisonment for a term of less than 5 years. However, presents which are given at the time of a marriage to the bride without any demand having been made in that behalf, or presents which are given at the time of marriage to the bridegroom without any demand having been made in that behalf, or where such presents are made by or on behalf of the bride or any other person related to the bride, and such presents are of a customary nature and the value thereof is not excessive, having regard to the financial status of the person by whom or on whose behalf such presents are given, then such presents fall outside the purview of this Act. However, such presents need to be entered in a list maintained in accordance with the rules made under this Act. We will be discussing on the list sometimes later in a different discussion. So, what is the penalty for demanding dowry? Section 4 of the Act deals with the penalty for demanding dowry. It states, if any person demands directly or indirectly from the parents or other relatives or guardian of a bride or bridegroom, as the case may be, any dowry, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 2 years, and with fine which may extend to 10,000 rupees, provided that the court may, for adequate and special reasons to be mentioned in the judgment, impose a sentence of imprisonment for a term of less than 6 months. Next comes ban on advertisement. Section 4A of the Act dealing with this provision says, if any person offers through any advertisement in any newspaper, periodical, journal, or through any other media, any share in his property or of any money, or both, as a share in any business or other interest, as consideration for the marriage of his son or daughter or any other relative, or prints or publishes or circulates any advertisement, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 5 years, or with fine which may extend to 15,000 rupees. provided that the court may, for adequate and special reasons to be recorded in the judgment, impose a sentence of imprisonment for a term of less than 6 months. Next comes dowry agreements. Section 5 of the Act deals with agreement for giving or taking of dowry. It states that any agreement which is made for the purpose of giving or taking of dowry shall be void. Section 6 deals with dowry to be for the benefit of the wife or heirs. It states, where any dowry is received by any person other than the woman in connection with whose marriage it is given, that person shall transfer it to the woman. If the dowry was received before marriage, then within 3 months after the date of marriage, or if the dowry was received at the time of or after the marriage, then within 3 months after the date of its receipt, or if the dowry was received when the woman was a minor, then within 3 months after she has attained the age of 18 years, and pending such transfer shall hold it in trust for the benefit of the woman. If any person fails to transfer any property as mentioned within the time limit specified therefore, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 2 years, or with fine which shall not be less than 5,000 rupees, but which may extend to 10,000 rupees, or with both. So where the woman entitled to any property under this provision dies before receiving it, the heirs of the woman shall be entitled to claim it from the person holding it for the time being. And if she has no children, then the property shall be transferred to her parents. Or if she has children, then it shall be transferred to such children, and pending such transfer it shall be held in trust for such children. Where a person convicted for failure to transfer any property as required by this section has not, before his conviction, transferred such property to the woman entitled thereto, or as the case may be, to her heirs, parents or children, then the court shall, in addition to awarding punishment under that section, direct by order in writing that any such person shall transfer the property to such woman, or as the case may be to her heirs, parents or children, within such period as is specified in that order. And if such person fails to comply with the direction within the period so specified, an amount equal to the value of the property may be recovered from him, as if it were a fine imposed by such court and paid to such woman, or as the case may be to her heirs, parents or children. So that is all that we have today. Moving forward, we will look into the various rules under the Dowry Prohibition Act, but that will be next week. So till then, go through the various penal provisions described here and raise your voice against dowry. Thanks for watching.